Hello, my wonderful students. We are on the last lesson of this particular math chapter, and we've gone back. So we are on Chapter 3, Lesson 4. We've gone back to Chapter 3, Lesson 4, and this is on page 175. And if you have this butterfly and it says rest area, then you know you're on the right page. I wanted to go back to this because this is going to be an important concept that you guys learn, but I wanted to keep going into the actual long division and give you practice with those patterns as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this, and we're going to be using basic facts and patterns to divide multiples of 10. So just like we can multiply patterns of 10, like 3 times 1,000, is 3 times 1 is 3, and then 3 zeros, or 4 times 800, I can do 4 times 8 to get 32, and then I add 2 zeros. Just like we can multiply with powers of 10, we can also divide with powers of 10. So we're going to figure out how to do this. I think it's fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. So example 1. A monarch butterfly can fly 240 miles in 3 days. Suppose it flies the same distance each day. How many miles can it fly? So we're going to find 240 divided by 3. Now we could certainly get out this book or our paper and do 240 divided by 3. 3 can't go into that 2, but it can go into 24 is 8, 24, 0, bring down 0, and get 80. We could certainly do that, but we also can look at some patterns and see. So 240 is a multiple of 10. It ends in that 0, so we can use our basic facts. So 24 divided by 3 is, we're looking at 240 divided by 3. 24 divided by 3 we know is 8. So 240 divided by 3 would be 80. 2,400 divided by 3 would be 800. And 24,000 divided by 3 would be 8,000. See what's happening with our numbers? This one has how many zeros? None, and the answer has none. This one has 1 0, the answer has 1. This one has 2 zeros, the answer has 2. 3 zeros, the answer has 3. So let's take a look at which one of these is the pattern that matches the problem. Well, 240 divided by 3, it's 8 tens. So how many miles does it fly each day? 80. 80. And sometimes this is easier, and sometimes just looking at these patterns is actually easier and a lot quicker, especially as we get to decimals. So let's take a look at some more practice. It says, a cow eats 900 pounds of hay over 30 days. That's a lot. 900 pounds over 30 days. How many pounds would the cow eat each day at this rate? So we're going to divide. So we're going to do 900, the larger number, divided by 30. And that H is pounds of hay. That's what that stands for. And so let's look at our fact families. We've got 3 times 3 is 9, or 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 30 times 3 is 90, and 90 divided by 30 is 3. 30 times 30 is 900, and 900 divided by 30 equals 30. So let's look at this way. This is the way I like to do it, and I think it's kind of fun. We can use a pattern to cross out the number of zeros. So you can cross out the same number of zeros in the dividend and the divisor to make the division easier. So cross out the same number of zeros in both the dividend and the divisor. So we've got, over here I've got 2 zeros, and I've only got 1 over here. So I'm going to cross out 1 on each side. So I'm going to go like this and like this. Now I can't cross this one out because I don't have a buddy. Remember in this we have to cross 1 out on each side. So my new problem is 90 divided by 3. 90 divided by 3. And you can think 9 tens divided by 3. 9 divided by 3 equals 3, and there's a 0 left over. So 900 divided by 30 is 30. Since H is 30, the cow eats 30 pounds each day. And we can check our work here. We can multiply 30 times 30. Let's, instead of writing it that way, let's write it this way and use our powers of 10. 30 times 30. 3 times 3 is 9, and then I add in 2 zeros, and I got my dividend, so 900. So let's take a look at the guided practice. We've got 500 divided by 5. So I'm just going to cross this off, and I want you just to do this. Circle everything that's not a 0. What's 5 divided by 5 is 1. And how many zeros do I have left over? 2. My answer is 100. And we can check it. 100 times 5 equals 500. So we know we got that right. We can do the exact same thing on these ones. We have 800 divided by 2. Well, I know 8 divided by 2. That's a math fact that I'm really familiar with. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and I have 2 zeros left over. I couldn't cross any off over there, so I have 400. 900 divided by 3. Yeah, I don't know, but I know 9 divided by 3 is 3, and there's 2 zeros left, so that's my answer. What about 15 divided by 5? 15 divided by 5, oh, I know that is 3, and there's a 0 left in that 150, so my answer there is 30. 150 divided by 5 is 30. Let's do 5. We've got 140 divided by 7. I can circle everything that's not a 0. 14 divided by 7. Oh, I know that fact is 2. How many zeros do I have left? 1. There we go. 20 is my answer. Let's circle everything that's not a 0. 45 divided by 9. 45 divided by 9 is what? 45 divided by 9 is 5. 5 times 9 is 45, and there's 1 0 left over. Let's circle everything in this problem that's not a 0. 28 divided by 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. How many zeros are left over? 1. 70 is my answer there. 18 divided by 6. I know that one is 3. Now, I have a 0 on each side, so I'm dividing, so that means I can cross them off. They are 1 on each side of this division, so I can cross them off. So that's actually my answer. Let's check it. 60 times 3. Yep, we got that dividend. So we could cross them off. So we can do that first if you'd like. It doesn't matter which one you do. So I've got a 0 on this side and a 0 on this side. I can cross them off. They're buddies. Now I just have 24 divided by 3. I know that fact is 8. If you're not sure if you're right, check that work. Let's do it backwards. 8 times 30. 30 times 8. 8 times that is 0. 8 times 30 is 24. Yep, I got it. Let's look at number 10. I have a 0 on each side. I can cross one off, cross its buddy off. You can only do it with buddies. 42 divided by 7 is 6. You can check your work if you'd like. Remember, that is a 70. And there's your answer. It is checked. I kind of like it when they're written this way for this type of division. So I have some zeros, but I only have 1 on this side. I have 2. So I can only get rid of 1 here and 1 here. Now I'm going to circle everything that's not a 0. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And how many zeros are left over? Remember, we crossed this one off and this one because there was 1 on each side, so there's just 1 0 left over. 60. And we can check our work. 60 times 30. And remember, if we did powers of 10, we just do 6 times 3 is 18, and we'd add 2 zeros. So we got it. That one's correct. 2,000 divided by 400. So I have 2 zeros on this side and 3 over here. So I can go like this. Buddy, buddy, and buddy number 2, buddy number 2. Now I have 20 divided by 4. Do you know that fact? Yeah, 5. Remember, you can check your work. 400 times 5, 0, 0, 20. There's your answer, checked. There's 2 zeros on number 13. There's 2 zeros on this side and 2 zeros on the other side. So I can buddy, 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 buddy. Now I have 24 divided by 3. Simple fact is 8. can check my work. 300 times 8. If we write it this way, 300 times 8, I can use my powers of 10. 8 times 3 is 24. Add 2 zeros. 2,400. I got my correct answer. Feel free to pause it here if you need more time. We are going to go over this a little bit in class together, just to do some review and make sure it's making sense to you guys. But if you do have questions that you know of, please let me know. Okay, let's do just a few of these. Number 14, a group of 10 people bought tickets to a reptile exhibit and paid a total of $130. What was the price of one ticket? So we're dividing 130 divided by 10. 130 was the total paid, so it's the larger number, it goes first. 130 divided by 10. Well, I have a 0, 1 on each side, so I can cross those off. And now I just have 13 divided by 1. Well, everything divided by 1 is itself, so $13 is the amount of one ticket. And if you want to check your work, we can multiply 13 times 10. 13 times 1 is 13, add a 0, 130. Okay, the fastest team, number 15, the fastest team in a wheelbarrow race traveled 100 meters in about 20 seconds. On average, how many meters did the team travel each second? So we're dividing 100 divided by 20. I've got buddy zeros, so I can cross one off on this side and cross one off on this side, but I have to leave that one because it doesn't have a buddy to cross off. But now I have left 10 divided by 2, and what's your answer to that? 5. And I circled 10 because I didn't want to use 1 divided by 2 because that's trickier in my head, so I don't have to re-add in a 0 because I already did that whole 10 divided by 2. Number 16, a video store took in $450 in DVD rentals during one day. If DVDs rent for $9 each, how many DVDs were rented? So we could put 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 until we get to 450, or we can divide. 450 divided by 9. Now there's no 0 buddies for me to cross off, so I just have to circle my numbers that make sense to me. This 10 made sense to me. 10 divided by 2, I knew that fact. 45 divided by 9, we know that fact is 5, and there's a 0 left. So 50 DVDs were rented. Okay, let's do number 17. Daniela has a 160-pound bag of potting soil. She puts an equal amount of soil in 4 pots. How much soil will she put in each pot? So she's got these 4 pots, and she's taking this 160 and dividing it equally into all 4. So we're dividing it equally. So it's 160 divided by 4. There's no zeros and there's no buddy zeros on each side, but I do see a math fact that makes sense in my head. 16 divided by 4. What's 16 divided by 4? 4, and there's 1 0 left. So 40 pounds in each pot. 40 pounds is how much went into each pot. Okay, so this is the last question. We're going to do this hot problem, and it is number 18. Find the error. I like these ones. Sonia is finding 5,400 divided by 90 mentally. Find her mistake and correct it. So she started out with 5,400 divided by 90. And then it looks like she recognized that there were buddy zeros, and so she crossed this one off and she crossed this one off. But why is this one crossed off? Did it have a buddy on this side? So let's correct her mistake. So she started with 5,400 divided by 90, and she knew to cross off buddy zeros, so she crossed off this one and this one, but she should not have crossed that one off. So now we have 540 divided by 9. That's our simplified problem, and we can look at something she probably knows. 54 divided by 9. 9 times what is 54? 9 times 6, and there's 1 0 left. So the answer is 60. Oh, and of course you couldn't see the end of that problem. I'm sorry about that, you guys. She took that 540, she looked at 54 divided by 9, a number that made sense in her head, a compatible number divided it, got 6, and then added that single 0 left. Amazing work today, you guys. Great job. We're going to be doing more of this in class, and hopefully you thought that was a little bit fun and a little different than what we've been doing.